will take advantage of any type of promotion.
You definitely get a star presence when he's around.
The magic, the money, and the motivation behind Disney's star power.
Disney is a cheerful organization.
And it deserves the kind of support that, you know, a star like him can lend to it.
Plus the rides, the tunes, and the deals being made at Walt Disney World. Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Murray.
And I'm Marianne Grabavoy. When Disney World opened almost 20 years ago, only 10,000 people showed up. But that was the last slow day in Disney World's history. Today, the park hosts more than 23 million people each year, making it the #1 tourist destination in America.
Well, we're going to devote this entire half hour to Walt Disney World, sort of a holiday weekend getaway. In this first story, Evening Sarah Edwards tells us that when it comes to luring tourists to Disney World, Mickey gets a little help from some very famous friends.
We've had 105 celebrities. Almost anybody that has major recognizability, but any of the major leads on a television or movie, you know, are the people we're interested in.
Disney World is well known as the #1 vacation destination for families, and they're working hard to be #1 on the list of celebrities who can go anywhere they choose. Some of the celebrities who visit the park are invited to make a lasting impression at Hollywood Boulevard East.
Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley are right here. Right over here is Alan Alda. And if you're real acrobatic when you visit the courtyard, you can see how your nose measures up with Mr. Alda's nose. Just next to that are Bob Hope and George Burns. And just down here is kind of a big one. This is Michael Jackson. Real hands and feet and everything. Michael visits the park two ways. Most of the time he comes in disguise so that he can see the park. Otherwise, you know, if he's with an entourage or whatever, it's very difficult for him to get around.
And although officially celebs are on their own, just like everybody else, Disney sometimes has to bend the rules when star power gets overpowering. They want to be sure these famous vacationers have a good time.
At a point where it might be holding up lines, then we might help them in a certain attraction.
This is a very popular one with the young ladies. Tom was around the park all day. We couldn't actually do his ceremony for the public because we were afraid we'd have too many people and not be able to control it.
In fact, Disney was so afraid of Tom getting mobbed that they snuck him in after the park was closed. But it isn't just celebrity status that gets you invited to be seen at Disney. Image counts, too.
Any celebrities you wouldn't invite? I'm thinking maybe heavy metal rock star that wouldn't fit with maybe the image of Disney World, or do you think about that?
Well, you know, the doors are open to everybody. The unique thing that we've never had to worry too much about is that we've always set the image 35 years ago at Disneyland. We're a family business. We don't necessarily attract different types of people than that. Now, what makes the world go round is the doors are open for everybody.
And while their doors may be open to everybody, their camera lenses are open only to the decidedly wholesome celebrities Disney chooses to point them at.
Joe Montana, you and the San Francisco 49ers just won back-to-back Super Bowls. What are you going to do next? Going back to Disney World!
The What's Next television commercials are the second vehicle in the plan to use celebrities to promote Disney.
The appeal is the uniqueness, I think, of the field that they're in, being it sports or entertainment, to be next to a celebrity that's viewed by thousands of people. We will take advantage of any type of promotion.
I'm headed for Disney World right now.
And promote they do.
We've gone all the way from the Super Bowls to Joe Montana and to the NBA basketball. When somebody says today, what are you going to do next? And joking, they all say they're going to Walt Disney World. We've been on David Letterman's show. We've been on Good Morning America. We've been on a lot of local television shows.
Tom, when a celebrity like Joe Montana says, I'm going to Disney World, do they really come to Disney World?
He really comes, brings his family, and by the way, in fact, that's one of the stipulations to do that commercial in that spot is that when you say we're going to Walt Disney World, you do have to come to Walt Disney World. We always like to get a shot of the celebrity in front of our castle or in front of Spaceship Earth or down at our new Disney MGM Studios, someplace in the park that it helps us publicize the park itself. Here at Walt Disney World, celebrities become a part of the whole atmosphere.
What's the price for getting celebs to partake in these promotional festivities? Mickey isn't saying.
Who's next for the What's Next ads?
We just kind of wait till something comes up and surprise everybody.
Disney also gets celebs to the park by using the stars of the movies they produce, and the publicity naturally follows.
We had the world premiere of the Dick Tracy film here in June. A highlight of the evening was the stars of Dick Tracy putting their handprints in the courtyard. Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty, Glenn Headley, who played Tess Trueheart, and Charlie Korsmo. Dustin had all three of his kids with him.
And it's the element of surprise that makes the commercials and celebrity presence at Disney that much more fun.
So you never know. You could come to the Disney MGM Studios, and if the guy sitting next to you on the great movie ride looks like Tom Cruise, it might be.
We're going to Disney World! Disney World!
Well, some celebrities are actually part of the park's main attractions. Michael Jackson stars in the 3D musical adventure Captain EO. And in Epcot's Cranium Command ride, yes, that's right, Cranium Command, Charles Grodin and John Lovitz play the left and right sides of the brain.
Up next, climb on board for the latest attractions.
Use your head, don't lose your head. It's easy. You'll be flying in no time.
Disney World is renowned for creating spectacular rides and attractions, from Tomorrowland's heart-stopping Space Mountain to the technically elaborate Star Tours.
Well, as technology improves and the public's appetite for special effects grows, Disney developers are almost forced to come up with new ways to thrill a crowd. Sarah Edwards is back at Disney World with a look at the park's latest adventures.
When Walt Disney wished upon a star for another Disneyland, his dream came true in the form of Disney World in 1971. It began with familiar cartoon characters come to life in the Magic Kingdom. Today, Disney World seems like something Walt may have had to wish upon a whole galaxy for. With the addition of Epcot Center and Disney MGM Studios, a visit to the park can be dizzying. And if you haven't been here for a while, here's a look at some of the latest and greatest additions to this larger-than-life playground. One of the most recent additions to Epcot Center is the Wonders of Life Pavilion. Here, the interactive activities challenge you to test your eyes, your ears, and to check out what a hectic day in the life of a 12-year-old's mind can be like. With the help of Hans and Franz, who pump up the heart, and George Wendt, who keeps an eye on the stomach.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Captain. Left Brand reporting for duty, sir.
Happy, aren't you up yet? The bus will be here any second. Okay, Mama.
Yeah, what a loser captain we have. Yeah, you're pathetic, girly man. No, girly man, loser and pathetic.
Say that, Captain, I'd be willing to call it even if we could just park a little bit of food into your comfort.
Over at Disney MGM Studios, what's old at Disneyland is new at Disney World, Star Tours.
324 and plug in.
Take off with another bumbling pilot as he crashes his way through the galaxies. Based on the film Star Wars and designed with the help of the film's creator, George Lucas, this attraction is not for the faint of heart or stomach.
It was designed to feel like it was on a track in the beginning, so you assume that it was on a track. And then when the track goes the wrong way and you dive, it's obviously it's not a track because a track can't do that.
If you prefer more earthbound attractions, you could catch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live show.
Come on, let's make some noise for April O'Neil and our Heroes in a Half Shell. Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. Are you ordering pizza again?
And if larger-than-life is your thing, then get ready to think small in a big way. The Disney Imagineers have just completed a sci-fi playground designed to overwhelming specifications.
The idea is that you're in a section of the backyard, and this, of course, being all the grass, and the play elements are designed overscale so that the kids feel that they've been miniaturized.
That's right. Today is the grand opening of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Playground Style. And although you'll have to wait until spring to enjoy the new Muppet 3D Theater, which promises a close-up glimpse of Kermit and Friends, for now, you can catch the Sesame Street Gang performing their live show daily at Disney MGM Studios.
Come on now, show. Come on down.
The folks at Disney World are planning ahead for your visit, too. In the works is a new Switzerland pavilion, complete with a Matterhorn roller coaster ride, a revamping of the now dated Tomorrowland with an alien theme, and believe it or not, in the tradition of Epcot and Disney MGM Studios, another complete theme park is in the works for Walt's enormous world in Florida.
Well, as amazing as those rides might be, one of the more frustrating things about Disney World is waiting in line. During peak season, some of those attractions can have a waiting time of well over an hour, and it could get worse. By the year 2000, an estimated 100 million people a year will visit Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Tokyo, and the new Euro Disneyland. Next, the process may have gone high-tech, but animation is still an old-fashioned art at Disney.
That's the kind of stuff that the computer can do for you, which would be near impossible to do by hand.
When he was alive, Walt Disney's magic pen created some of America's most loved characters. Mickey, Goofy, Dumbo, the list goes on and on.
Well, a couple of years ago, a charming little character named Roger Rabbit was added to that list, and he put Disney back at the top of the cartoon world.
Just as the basic black and white of Steamboat Willie has evolved into the colorful character of Mickey Mouse, the tools of the animation trade have also come a long way. Fast-paced fluid motion and intricate special effects color the animation of today. The biggest gun in the arsenal of the animator in 1990, the computer. Disney's latest animated feature, Rescuers Down Under, is a good example of the added dimension only computers can create.
Cinch up your seatbelts, mates.
The computer in Rescuers had a big role with the computer generating the backgrounds. You get a moving effect to where it's like one of those helicopter shots.
We'll never make it.
It's more like a live-action shot to where you actually go off the edge with him, and you can follow him down where he looks like he's coming right into camera, and that's the kind of stuff that the computer can do for you, which would be near impossible to do by hand.
Add to the spherical coordinates and then convert back to rectangular. They are getting to a point where they can animate a lot of different things using the computer. Like movies now have computerized elements included in their special effects that look photographically real. They move like real objects.
But with all this high technology, is animation destined to be forever changed?
I don't think computer animation will ever replace hand animation because it's a completely separate kind of art form. And the look that you get with hand animation is so much different than computer animation. For us, if it'd be easier to use the computer faster, or if we want that kind of look, we'll use the computer. But it's just another tool, just like an airbrush is another tool for painting. Just another tool.
It's still done by hand pretty much the way it was 50 years ago. Do it a little faster, definitely, but it's still, they want us to do our very best. So it's a real exciting time as a result of that.
So they have their choice, and their next feature could involve computers or simply the creative touch of the human hand.
Our next animated feature will be Beauty and the Beast, and I'm working on that, as well as a new Roger Rabbit short that we're doing here in Florida, which is called Hare In My Soup, and will hopefully be going out next summer.
If my friends could see me now.
Well, along with full-length cartoons, Disney's reviving the old form of animated shorts that run before a full-length movie.
Audiences who went to see Dick Tracy or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, for example, were treated to Roger Rabbit cartoons. And the studio recently produced 2 new Daffy Duck shorts. They are called The Duxorcist and The Night of the Living Duck.
Next, Disney makes a deal with Monty Hall.
And I always wanted to do a show, he said, with The Lady and the Tiger.
One of the most recognized faces at the Disney MGM Studios these days is not Mickey Mouse or Roger Rabbit, but the master of the deal, Monty Hall. The legendary game show host was coaxed out of retirement to rescue the sagging ratings of NBC's revised Let's Make a Deal. Let's go back to Disney World one final time to see what's behind door number 1, 2, or 3.
Today, from the Disney MGM Studios in Florida, let's make a deal!
Here we go, there's Monty Hall.
Special guest host, ladies and gentlemen, the big dealer himself, Monty Hall! Guess what, folks? If you haven't already noticed, he's back.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that nice warm reception. Boy,
I'm back. I'm back for 3 months.
Monty Hall is back, just in the nick of time. Hall retired earlier this year and turned his pocket full of cash over to a new host. But the well-known emperor of good deals and hard luck was asked back to jumpstart the sputtering ratings of the classic game show he'd hosted more than 4,000 times.
Ratings, of course, are the mother's milk of television. I think the fact is that when people tuned in and didn't see me on the show, they may have been disappointed. If you do a show and you're identified with that show for such a long period of time, since 1964, which is 26 years, naturally, there is a familiarity.
Money! What did I offer you?
Oh, you offered me money.
How much?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently, audiences could chuckle at traders in crazy costumes and their frenzied attempts to avoid getting zonked, but it just wasn't a big enough deal without Monty.
You've got a bicycle built for 2.
But Monty isn't just the face of Let's Make a Deal. He helped invent the rules of the game.
So you know what the risk is, and you know what you're going for. $2,000.
I said, you know, there's a tremendous amount of excitement generated when you go into an audience and you ask people for certain things. They come with huge bags full of trinkets and whatnots.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show any one of you in this row. They can show me a birth certificate. And it's going to get $100. You have a needle, it's going to be worth $150, $200 for a pair of tweezers right now. Jamaica coin, that's worth about a half a cent. But to you, it's worth $500.
It was a colorful show when people started wearing colorful clothes to capture my attention.
I'm a lobster.
And what is she?
She's a little Bo Peep.
And it was a show where you didn't have to have any background or any quizzes before you got on the show, because there were no decisions to be made except, do you want the box, the curtain, that item, and what do you want to do? So everybody could play the game.
Let's take the curtain.
Curtain. We'll take
You want the curtain. Okay.
It's real, genuine fun. We're not taking anything away from people. They come to the show with nothing.
Don't open it.
And they make these various deals. We put something in their hands, and then we offer them something else. And if they make the right decision, they do well. And if they make the wrong decision, c'est la guerre.
It's an armchair. And look at that special armchair. Isn't that marvelous?
I'm just having the time of my life, because I love working with people.
Wonderful having you on the show. And now we go into the big deal of the day.
Although Monty has promised to do the job he loves for only a couple more months, he seems confident about the show's chances for continued success.
Now the shows have changed. You know, Johnny Carson turns it over to Jay Leno, and Jay Leno's doing all right. There's no question that Let's Make a Deal, when they write the history of game shows, will be one of the 2 or 3 shows that will be identified with its longevity and with its own peculiarities. We call it the cross-section of America, and I do love having fun with them.
Monty will hold on to the title special guest host until a replacement can be found. One of his ideas is to introduce the finalists for the job on the air and have viewers vote for their favorite by dialing a 900 number. Well, here's a look at what's coming up next week on Evening Magazine.
They're leaving sexy and single behind in search of sincerity and commitment.
I've seen an evolution.
Monday, good night.